Okay, so like this is like kind of how the uh so we're gonna go over like a guide session for the like soul like restore and like the wind heart restore that we saw in the autumn the for aristocracy video in 2022. So like that like we also saw like the like butterfly like the like kind of that like fairy and the like the uh autumn darkness in Strange World. And so I think that like what kind of and then also we see like that sort of like the sort of like that vine aesthetic that's in the Wish film, and like that kind of resembles the Waltz of the Flowers. And they like so I think that's kind of what like I think that's a good that's a good reference material for like how the official trailer can manifest in the sense of like I so like the scene of Olaf where like Olaf like fades away in the cave, like Anna has that torch because that's what the power is, and like that's how powerful that torch is, kind of like how Clopen can like how Clopen has the torch in the Court of Miracles, and then like he and also is like Anna's in that black place, that like really dark pit of like obsidian, because like that's what happened with Clopen's gloves on, and like the haiku of like Florida and Kansas and California with the Corona Tangled story. Like that's what this story is really, is that it's like the gloves like there was this like very high level of power that like kind of just like how Rapunzel was like trapped in the tower, like there was this high level of power that was like in that is in the Wish film, and like how Clopan can like like link the fire together is kind of symbolic of like Minecraft and like an ambush like Ambrodia. So like I know my name, like I'm Ambrodia, I'm Hanan Nanan is actually who I am. But like I think that that's what like Dawn, like his copper skinned speaker, like that's what that is. And like my Harman Kardon speaker, like that's what this is. It's like, but none of that's real, and like that's what the haiku is, because like the red people, like people like Callahan, were trying to make it real, but it's not. And they were trying to like make it have like the they were trying to like they were trying to uh like they were trying to like force this um like they were really reality, like that's what Jafar was doing, that's what like Magnifico says in the trailer, and then like Chris Pine and like Chris O'Neill from like the greenhouse. But like there's also the green pointer in the map game, which I think is why it's important in the Minecraft map, was is important for me to like reveal the actual photo of Riley that I posted in 2019, and then like the color version that I am posting in this video. And like I think that's actually really important because like that's actually really important because A, that is the soul that like people like I uploaded that photo to Instagram, and that is the soul that people went into the river. That's the river that like was referenced in the film Frozen 2. And so it was important that I actually posted this particular photo because that's the one like Harry Osborn, like sorry, that's not like the answer we were looking for. Chris Pine, Chris O'Neill. Like because this is the actual photo that people were going into the river. And like this is the actual photo from the Winter Story, which is actually important because like that's what like that was the what I posted on Instagram, and like that was how they learned what like that this river situation was happening. That was how they like learned how to look for the miracle, and that's how they were trying to save the miracle in the Encanto, and that's why Camilo's in that one, and like my hair is in that one because like that's what my power is. And then like there's also like these stars of David that I posted, like that's what was happening. There were like lanterns that went up, and so like that's what's been happening. And so like in also like with like Hito wakes up in the Baymax shorts, and so like the kingdoms are uploaded to his phone, which I kind of feel like that's the same thing of like Olaf fading away. It's like San Francisco faded away, Hito woke up because like that was what we had to do. And then like Elsa and Holland, like that's kind of like the same scene of when she like runs across the fjord and it freezes in the first movie. And so like I think that that's what it is. 'Cause like that's like the open mist version of that. So like people are seeing how like the scope and the scale of this film. And so when we actually see like the Rosas world, the Paris world that's in um Wish, like it like I think what that is symbolic of is that it's like what we really saw in the first Frozen movie was Elsa run to the mountains and build San Francisco. And then like that's why there's like six that's why like there's six uh things there. But that's like what it's the pointillism thing. It's a pointillism thing. So like in that film, it all like manifested in that one film, and then you saw Big Hero 6 in the other film. And so like what's kind of happening in this one is like when she goes to Atahalan at the end of the film, like Felix is out of order. Like I rewrote the story and like I wrote it in order. And so like the that scene where she runs across the fjord in the other movie was actually maybe intended to be the actual end of the movie. And so that actually was the end of the movie in Frozen 2. And so like Elsa running across the fjord in that one is because she's actually going there to like build the story the way that it has to be because like the people in Arendelle and the forest aren't like hindering it. And so like what we're going to see in the Wish film is the actual film as it would have been if people had not like interfered, which is actually really awesome. And so like the scene of like Olaf fading away in Altahal is kind of and then like going to that like water fountain is kind of like the same thing as Keto waking up because San Francisco presumably uh faded away and like was uploaded to his phone. That's why you see like a bell and like Kristen Bell. Like that's why it looks like that, I think. Because like the it got uploaded there because like the game like dissolved. And so like I think that that's kind of what's happening. And so like it'll be really beautiful to see like this like sort of waltz of the flowers thing happening as Hito is like reconstruct like it'll probably begin like as Hito because he's like reconstructing that and he's like waking up and seeing like what is happening because he's one of the spirits. Like she said that she woke the spirits and changed the forest and Hito literally wakes up. So like that makes a ton of sense. And so like it'll be really interesting to see like you can also see how like the in the Wish trailer like those water orbs are like coming down. It's like a river full of memory, like in Inside Out. Like there are water orbs, and so like it was important that I like actually like recovered this like photo out of the river because like that's exactly what was happening. Is like in the Inside Out story, like Bing Bong, like people go into that pit and then they like don't resurface or and like they that's what was happening in the whole story is like the journey to bring Riley home was like I couldn't like this particular photo could not dissolve and be forgotten forever in that memory river. Like that's literally what the whole point of the movie is. And so like now that I've like actually recovered myself and I actually recognize myself because I didn't know that it was me when I posted it. So like that's also really awesome because like now not only is it symbolized in the story that I like recognize myself as who I am, but like I also like the by the time I actually like got like a color photo of it, like like by the time I actually recovered myself out of the river and then like searched for a like color photo of it, like by that time, like I had like reconnected with the Waltz of the Flowers. I had like told the story of like who I actually was and like we had like gone through the investigation. We had done like we had made like several movies and like we really just reconstructed like the earth and like healed the planet. And like that is represented in this photo. And it's like it's absolutely beautiful. It is like it is beauty like beyond compare. Like it's so insane. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. But yeah, I think that that's kind of what's happening. So it's like and like also like the fountain itself, like the and like the clouds in San Francisco or in the mist in general, like that we've seen in all of the films, all of the like Disney Junior era films. Like it would be really interesting if that's what like we see get uploaded into the phone is like all of the like emotion and all of the like everything that the mist like represents in all of the films being uploaded to Hito's phone, like how Olaf fades away. It would be really interesting if we see that that's what actually happened in the scene where the Enchanted Forest, where it's winter in the Enchanted Forest, because that's what the story is. It's winter. So like in the scene where it's winter in the Enchanted Forest, it would be really interesting if we see in the Wish film, in the trailer, like, oh, this is just like my like contribution for that. Like it would be really interesting if we see in the trailer like what happens in the Enchanted Forest, because like presumably like it's similar to the Heart of Tafiti being stolen. Like it would be really interesting if what happens in the Enchanted Forest is that like a similar situation to like that heart, the heart being stolen, is that like what is happening, or maybe even that is the story, because again all I did was write the story accurately, and because like that's what Frozen 2 was, like that's the accurate like Desmond story, because like the winter story had already been written, which I think is kind of what was happening in Moana. But like Frozen was like the reconstructed story of like what actually happened, and that's like what Encanto is, and that's what like Strange World is, and that's what like Wish is, and like that's kind of what's happening in these films. Is that like Frozen 2 is really just Frozen 1, but like reconstructed, because like it was like that film was made, exploited while I had not actually finished writing it. And so Frozen 2 is the actual story. And so like, and it was written like once I like had like kind of like gone on this journey to like craft my worthy future. So like that's what that is all represented in this photo, and it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. But yeah, I think that that's kind of what it is. It's like the that scene that we see of that darkness in the Heart of Tafiti being stolen. Like that's like, because you really just see the battle with Taka right after that, but you don't really see that spot where the heart was stolen at. You see that in Frozen 2, and I think that that's what the Enchanted Forest is. Like that's what we saw, like the dead Enchanted Forest that we saw in Frozen 2, I think is that spot where the Heart of Tafiti was stolen. And that's actually really interesting. So like if you were to look at it from that perspective, and then look at like what happened in Strange World with the what happened in Strange World with like the autumn leaves, like it's actually really interesting because it's all really cohesive in the sense that like we are able to see now that like that darkness spreading across the globe, that is like the Enchanted Forest scene that we see at the end of Frozen 2. And so the Wish film, like, and it would be really interesting to see in the trailer, is we see that darkness, and then we see that like enveloping like the seas and like enveloping like the planet, and we see that that's like where like that Strange World turtle thing kind of is like the Taka situation or whatever, of like them kind of trying to like suppress like my authentic self, because they were trying to um like have their daughters appear to be something that they weren't. It's like the same thing that was happening with Callahan. Like that's literally what it is. And so like it also is kind of maybe can be symbolized as like a Kraytech explosion sort of situation. But it'll be really interesting if we like if that is depicted, if like that's kind of how that's depicted, in the sense of like um the like we see that scene of the Enchanted Forest in the trailer, and like we see how like that's what kind of like what the like dam situation, like how that like negatively impacted, and then like trying to like um them kind of like attacking that Fantasia, because like that's kind of what was happening. They were attacking Fantasia. Like that's literally what it is. That's what Beauty and the Beast is they were trying to destroy Fantasia. And so like it makes a ton of sense that like that's what is represented in the this contribution of the Wish trailer, is that like what we see in Strange World is, and like even like the like really like petty drama and like the childish dancing that's happening in like Strange World. It'll be really interesting if we see that like that's like the Taka of like what is actually like the Waltz of the Flowers. And like the Waltz of the Flowers is like what's actually happening in like the kind of like we also see Hito's brain, But then we also, I mean, Hito actually probably does that. Like Camilo probably actually does that. But like we didn't see that because of like that Strange World garbage. And so like I think it would be really interesting if that's like what's like depicted is that it's like we see like what the Enchanted Forest like actually genuinely was, and like the stealing of the heart of Tafiti like is like the source block because like I'm like the source block of this, and people were trying to say that it was like where I was living or that it was like something that somebody like did for me or something, but it's not. It wasn't. It was my brain. Like my brain is the source block of this like aesthetic, but they were trying to attribute that to like females or Christians. And it's like, but it didn't work because they couldn't replicate it. Just like The Cure and Angel, like this movie really can just demonstrate that like people wasted a lot of time, money, and energy and resources trying to make something that it wasn't. That's what happened in Encanto, as well as Mia Bell was telling people that she was trying to be something that she wasn't. That was the whole story. She was saying she was trying to make Camilo something that he wasn't. That's what Abuela said. She thought she would be a different woman. That's what the whole thing is. It says like it was something that happened for no reason because of something that just like patently was like false. And like I think that that's kind of what it is. Is that it's like it'd be really interesting to see that like that wind being absorbed into the Hito's phone, like Olaf, is like the enchanted forest like fading away, like just like Olaf did, and like that's what the wind spirit fading away is, and like that's what Agnar in Holland is. Because I actually kind of think that just like Peeta in Hunger Games, where he has like the paint of the tree, I think Agnar might actually literally have been like Agnar Eros might literally like Fitz and Night Eyes Arrows might literally have been in that tree there. And I think that's also kind of what the whole point of the mist is. So it's like the like just like how Hito builds like the Baymax armor and then like he like the mist like actually like creates it or whatever. Like Agnar is probably in the Enchanted Forest and there like with that dam situation and the damsel situation, like that's probably what was happening is that it's like he was just there like in like that's probably what was happening in there. It's like that was probably actually literally him. Like that was actually probably literally me in there. Like this literal photo of me in the river. Like my soul in the river by that tree that may be actually the only tree. And then like just like Elsa's ice palace, like it can be like it can take the form of something that like you can take the form of like a what looks like mini trees, but it's actually really like pressurized air in a soccer ball, just like in the Baymax trailer, in the Big Hero 6 trailer with Baymax. Like that's literally what it is. It's actually that simple, and it really just boils down to like they like there was like group of people that were like jealous of like the jealous queen in Snow White. Like that's literally all that it amounts to. Like in the Castle of Illusion, that's all that it is. Is that like my true love's beauty, which is like my beauty, like was in like was being like they were trying to like assign that to women. It's what like transformed him into a hideous beast, like genderism. Like that's what it was. It's that it's like it was really dumb and it happened for literally no reason. And so like it would be really cool to see like how my soul is like being like restored out of like just any of the false depictions. Hercules, the River Styx and Hercules, the Vanessa tricks, the Evil Queen tricks. Because I think that that's kind of what like some of the Disney movies are maybe is like the Enchantress story too. So like not to be deceived by appearances because women aren't like perfect. Like they're not like it like I think that's kind of really what it is. Like nobody really is perfect, but like they were trying to push this agenda that women were like at the very least in the haiku, like red people, conservative people trying to push that agenda. And so like I think that that's kind of what some of the point of the Disney films are is that it's um like not to be deceived by their appearances because like that's what it is. It's like they're not always like doing the right thing. They're not always good. And I think that's the whole point is that like sometimes it does boil down to just women are jealous of men. Not all women, but some of them are. And that's where like a lot of the problems in Christianity came from. It's just kind of the truth. And so like I think that that would be really interesting to see that like that's what happens in the Wish trailer is that like, we see the wind spirit like fade away, and like that is represented in like that darkness that we see in the heart of Tapiti being stolen, and the like enchanted forest fading away, and like that winter arriving. And then also that can be symbolic of how me and Dylan just didn't know we were twins. Like all of this, and like because like forest and lake are twins, like the enchanted forest, like we're twins in the story, but like we didn't know that because of this like Auschwitz level like twin study shit that was happening in America. So like I think that that's kind of what it is, and that would be really interesting to see like the wind spirit like be absorbed into like San Francisco, and then like maybe it like the open mist is like the open and closed mist is you see the wind spirit like fading away, and then you kind of see like Keto and like the that like the character with like the wooden spoon in that trailer, like you see these two characters and you see like how it is really just them like speaking and communicating. That's what like the mist is. It's just our voices. And like that's what's happening with Ursula. She's stealing people's voices. And then like this like that necklace breaks, and then like Ariel gets her voice back, which is like the same thing as like that. It's like the enchanted forest kind of fades away, and then like Keto wakes up and he has his voice back, and like that's kind of what it is. Is that it's like it's really like as simple as that. Like it's just a voice, but it's a voice as big as the sea. Honestly, it's a voice as big as the atmosphere, and like we're restoring the mind of the atmosphere, and like even the photo that like the color photo is like it'll be really interesting if we see how like my soul like arrives in the like it fades away, and like the fountain itself in like the Lithia fountain itself fades away, and then like is like it like is reconstructed in Lithia, but like you see how like the wind spirit and like the enchanted forest, like the point at which the Lithia flag is reconstructed, like everything leading up to the film, like everything leading up to that, which you probably already saw it in the trailer, but like everything in the film leading up to that is like literally that whole scene of Anna and Olaf fading away and then like landing at that fountain. Like so a large portion of the movie will be like an overarching theme of that scene, and it'll be really, really dark, but also really beautiful and really just like really like potently like demonstrating like how dark this situation was, like kind of really for no reason. And like really like demonstrating like how this haiku and like the Florida, California, and Kansas thing of like there the dam has two sides. So it's like there's three states from Florida to California, and there's three states from Kansas to there's three states from Florida to Kansas, and there's three states from Kansas to California. Because that's what the story is. That's literally what the story is. It's a haiku of this story, and like all of the things that people did trying in this like culture war. And that was exactly what I wrote in 2019 when I posted the modern Egypt in like the Stars of David. Like that's what this story is, and it's absolutely beautiful. But yeah, it would be really cool to see how like that like the scene of like my soul being like um uploaded to the phone is like kind of like Hito waking up, and then like the autumn seat being built, and then like the soul is kind of like resting in the temple in Lithia. It's like kind of resting in that Seven Majors temple, I mean. And then like you see the Seven Majors Palace get built, and it's built like there's a ton of soul sand there, and we see all of that in the trailer because like that's what's happening. You see like Baymax find Callahan. You see King Magnifico's eyes are like illuminated like Baymax's eyes because like the wind spirit like Hito's like super pissed off. And so like I think that that would be really interesting if we see that like in the trailer, like we see that in the trailers, that's like that's kind of what is happening with the soul, because like you see him like you see me like arrive to the game, and I'm kind of just like recollecting myself and like kind of like just being cautious like Asha. And so like the soul is there because like that's kind of what happens in Hercules, like he has to go and put the soul in the body, but then like he has to like fully like reemerge out of the river and everything. And so like it'll be really interesting if we see like that's kind of what the Seven Majors is. That's like this really uh like highly constructed city that like is there because like of the soul being stolen and like the soul being like drowned in the river or whatever. But then like that it's like the soul is like there and like and it's like safe there, but like but like then there's the whole like you see like the war that happens in the movie and like the like press coverage and like just everything, all the events unfolding in the movie are like the character like Riley, because we're just gonna call it Riley. We're also gonna transition back to me doing like author commentaries that like are myself just like um speaking and just being like, hey, this is myself, this is me talking, like Terrence Ford Jr., like this is my identity talking, my genetic identity talking. And like this is who I like am. But like I am like doing these like author commentaries now that are like this is who I am, like I'm awake, like I've awoken, like this is who I actually literally am. I've restored my own soul. I am my own king. I am my own human. I am my own person. I am an independent human being. And like I think that that's really interesting. So like we'll see that like in the film, like this is like Riley and he is like home, he's like returned. And like you see like the events leading up to the movie are him like me, like Riley, because this is the character now, but like are just like Riley, the character, emerged out of the river and it's just like um reconstructing the world to like uh definitively prove his identity and like prove who I am and like what I've authentically created and designed and then like asserting to people that like I am who I am and like there and like the war that happens in the film is just like the brain that you see in San Francisco in Big Hero 6 on the bridge is like that's what the film is really. It's just like my brain like reconstructing itself and like me reconstructing my brain and like it is just like the city coming together but like I am like the one like because I like am my own like one and like the city will see it take shape in the sense of like not only am I like reconstructing the city because like I am the like most suited to be the architect of this city and like of the capital, but also it's like I was like you can see how everything is like designed specifically because it is intended to demonstrate not only that I am the most suited to be the architect, but it like each thing that I crafted like demonstrates why that is. And so like I didn't just say like, hey, I want to be my own king because I want to do whatever I want, or I want to be my own king because like that is my edict and my demand. It's because it's like, no, it's like we have seen in the world, we've seen a lot of people try to pull this sword out of the stone, more or less. We've seen a lot of people try to like, like be worthy of this. And it is just the truth that I am the one that is worthy of it. Like, that's just what it is. Like, there was like 10 years or something, 10 or 11 years since Minecraft like was like people have been playing Minecraft for like a decade, like over a decade, a little over a decade. And like it is just like this is just where we are right now. Like I am the finalist. Like this is who I am and I am actually I did this to prove that I am actually legitimately the most suited to be my own king and to craft my worthy future. That's what it is. It's like that's what the Lanai Sandcraft Online server is, and that's like what I'm sending to Disney because I'm also asserting that I don't work for them. I'm asserting that they exploited me. Like I was not aware that any of this shit was happening, and like we're clearing that up. But like that's what it is. I'm sending this to them so that like the people who I've rallied there can make this film so that people know that like this is what happened, this is why it happened, and it was kind of for no reason. And like I think that that would be really beautiful to see like the soul is like soothing as like people are becoming more aware that I am my own king and people are becoming more aware that it is actually beneficial to a lot of people, including myself, that I'm my own king and that like we have a really bright future and like the simple solution, like it could have been like we had a really bright future. Like we all have a really bright future now that like was being hindered simply because like somebody was being like because of like hubris and narcissism. Like that's literally all that it was. That's literally the only reason that it was happening is because like people were being like people were trying to like hinder something like narcissistically and like there was no reason for it at all. Like there was really no reason for it to happen at all. And I think that like will make them like it the movie will be so beautiful, but it's also going to be like really brutal, but like it will really set the stage for a lot of like really really beautiful bright things because I saw the darkness and I fought the hardest for the light. It's awesome. So yeah, um that is a wrap. We did great, and I'm very proud of all of us. I'm proud of everybody who worked on this film, even some of the people who were involved in the exploitation, because we all came together and we all did the right thing together, and we all did what was best for everyone. And like the communities and like the communities of this like fellowship and like the communities of like the world and just like the world in general, like we all came together and pieced this puzzle together and we like mourned what we lost and we celebrated who we are and we survived and overcame some of like the most brutal things that have happened on this planet and we all just did that and we all did it like oh my gosh like I have never been prouder of anything in my life. I've never been prouder of the human race in my life than I am right now. And it seems so like, it seems so like that it seems like it couldn't possibly be, but it's the truth. Like, I have never been prouder of humanity than I am right now. In however many lifetimes that I've lived, because I don't know if I believe in reincarnation, but like, I've never been prouder of humanity than I am right now because we all just like grew so powerfully and so beautifully together and we all just like came together in like the darkest of circumstances and we all just came together in the darkest hour and like we're manifesting some like insane like beautiful light and it's just like it is a beautiful design. It is a beautiful design and I just like we all just came together and reconstructed this beautiful design together and we're all going to be able to prosper from this and like we all just like oh my gosh we all just did so great. Oh my gosh, I'm so proud of the earth right now. I'm so proud of Lanai right now. I am so proud of Lanai right now. And I say come home. I say come home earth. Come home to Lanai. Come home earth. Come home to Lanai.